Okay, so a little opening. So I'm Alex Panousis. I run a media company. I work in advertising. I've been in this business a long time. But I'm also a cancer patient or a cancer survivor. I went through breast cancer a couple of years ago, and when I went through that, I learned this kind of new language in the space of pharma and really truly saw the benefits of tech and digitization and how that's changed for the consumer. And thinking through that, and one of the things that I think, even if you know nothing about the sector, just being able to order prescriptions and kind of how fast that has moved. Because if you compare us to where we were 5 years ago, this has really been, I think, a transformative part of the business. I'm fascinated. I worked at the DMZ for a while, and we were working with a company that was, doing vending machine distribution of drugs and just kind of working with the Ontario government to kind of make that legal, I guess, and kind of, start those beta tests. And I know in Vancouver they are doing one now with opiates, and I think it's a fascinating way to manage crisis. I think it's really interesting. I think it's absolutely, kind of game-changing. 23andMe is one of my clients. Fascinating company. 26 million people around the world have taken DNA tests, and this is just continuing to explode. And we're starting to understand the power of this. I remember when my father had lung cancer, the cost of a DNA test that we had to buy ourselves at MedCan was $2,700. When I was a cancer patient, I got my DNA test for free, but if I had to buy it, it would have cost me $250 in less than 5 years. So that's a pretty massive change, and it talks about the scale and how quickly the industry is moving. So, one of the things that I think is interesting about Watson and about how AI is able to change the nature of this sector is how quickly we now can move to diagnosis. And I think AI is one of the big factors, and I think some of our speakers are going to be talking about this and how that's transformed. And so, one of the statistics that I think is incredible is how much faster you can actually diagnose today with technology. And also, in many cases, this is a breast cancer statistic, that the survival rate is just increasing because of that. So I think that's really powerful, and I think it's really important. I read an article, one of my clients in the pharma sector, we were talking about the idea of the revolution of 3D printing and how it's going to make drug personalization and how that's going to change in leaps and bounds. And I asked them, how far away are we from that? And they say 18 months, that they're in testing, they're testing all over the world. And again, I think that's pretty revolutionary and transformative. And finally, just the idea of personalizing treatment and being able to use all of that data to be able to come up with solutions that can actually help people. So of all of the sessions that we've done in MarketingTO, I think this is one of the most important ones because it touches people, it touches humans, and I think it'll be really interesting at the end of this today to just really sort of sit back and really think about how technology is really changing for good. It's one of the areas that is moving in the direction that will help humanity, and we're really excited about that. So.